Good. So, violin's going well?
Yeah, it's okay.
That's good. Yeah. Bass is still so weird for me. We're doing um higher on the fingerboard and it hurts my hands so much.
Are you
Like,
guys like learning like thumb position or
no,
um? uh,
no. I don't
okay.
really know what position it is, but like on the uh wait, what's the highest string? G, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the G string we're like past like we're on like an F or something like that. Like I really don't know what position it is, but it's like
Hmm.
hurts and I'm like I don't know how to fix it. And it's so hard to do it on Zoom because it's like Professor Gegi's like doing his best, but like you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's not much you can do like
yeah,
that. Like even during my lessons, it's like how much can we really do? It's like I play a little bit and then he has to.
yeah.
I can't play and then he talks. Like it's
And especially for bass, I find it so difficult because he can't see all of you.
Hmm.
You know, like it's so hard to like you have to be like 10 feet away from your computer in order for like to have the full picture in your Zoom thing. So like at least for violin, like you can work with just like half of your body, you know what I mean? Because you're only holding it with, your upper body, but like with bass
Yeah.
it's like I literally will have to like back up all the way to the corner of the practice room and then come back when he says something so I can see what he's doing. It's like ridiculous.
You have to line it up with like the bridge or something because you have to really get at least your bow because it's very hard to get the bow in frame and everything.
Yeah,
I
that
mean, yeah.
yeah, that's so true too. I always yeah, and when I do recordings, I have to put it like when I record music for the class, I have to like put like the camera like on the floor so he gets like a view like from above.
Mhm.
It's like insane. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
hope
know
it
the
gets
feeling.
better because bass is so hard for me. It's so hard, you know?
No,
It's like
trust me,
painful.
viola was painful. So.
Yeah, I mean honestly, um, not that violin is easier, but I personally think it was easier. Well, what am I saying? I'm a violinist though, so I guess I can't really say that. But like going to viola, I can see why it would be like difficult because I feel like violin's the more comfortable one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, with viola, it's at a weird spot where
Yeah,
it's not like because violin you have the closest your fingers get, bass you get the furthest apart, and then
yeah,
viola is just a weird
in the
middle
middle.
place. So
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. Yeah. But why don't we get started? Let's do well, it's only going to be a half hour, so it might even be less cuz I don't sometimes I get through things too fast, but I'll try not to do that this time. But so I wanted to just review some things that we've did in the past. Do you remember we did the escalators and the elevators? Do you remember what those mean?
yeah, the well with escalators, I remember it was just shifting like your two finger, like
Good.
bringing it up and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then there was another one I think too, right? There's different types of escalators you can do.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically the best way to kind of see that pattern is it's not just shifting two, it's just going do, re, mi, mi, fa.
Yeah,
Or like
half
one,
steps.
two, flat three, sharp three, four. Yeah, so it's just that half step in the middle. And yeah, if you start on an open string, it is gonna be the two that's moving. But if you start on a one, it's gonna be the three that's moving. It's basically just like wait. It's basically just like a five note pattern that is just moving one finger. And
Yeah.
it's a different finger whether you start on a one or you start on a two or you start on a three. It would be kind of like, or even a four, you could. So, good. So that's good. And then do you remember what the elevators were? That was, I think, the first lesson we did.
Yeah, wasn't it just crawling up like and it was just a
Oh,
scale
close,
or
close.
what was it?
That's the tetrachord
Or
scale.
wait, was
Yeah,
it just? I remember we did two and then going crawling
yeah,
up like
that's
that,
right.
right?
Good, good, good.
So
Yeah, so the one we were just talking about was the tetrachord
yeah.
kind of like fast scales that they both they kind of go hand in hand with each other because they're, you know, setting up the hand frame and getting used to it. But yeah, so the escalators, I mean the elevators, sorry, were the that type of deal.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so why don't we go through? Why don't you choose what you want to do first? If you want to do the escalators, elevators, or those one-octave tetrachord scales.
I could do elevator, I guess. Why not?
Sure, great.
Do you want me to do the 1, 2, or just do the open one?
Well, why don't you choose? You
Okay.
can go ahead
Just
and.
do open one since it's the morning and I'm tired.
Sure, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah. Good,
It's the
very
first
good.
time I played tonight.
Oh no, it sounds great. Good. So, yeah, so most importantly, we're kind of focusing on, um, the arm moving, because we're using all strings. Oh, you can't really see my arm on the E string, but you see how we're moving in like a vertical motion with our elbow. So that's just one important thing to know when you're going through all strings, and that's the same on bass. Like you're not just gonna stay the same angle, when you're on the E string versus the G string on the bass, right? Good.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can practice those every time, and you can do them. Why don't we do one more? We'll do 2, 3. And it's gonna be a half step, so you're gonna notice how close it is. It literally touches each other, even when you go to the other string. And this kind of creates diminished feel, so it's kind of interesting. But why don't you try that? So you're gonna start on a B on the G string.
It's very hard to cross.
It
I'm
is
so
tricky.
terrible at crossing.
Yeah. Good.
Still
Awesome.
terrible at crossing.
So that was a little more challenging. So I'd like for you to work on that one, when you practice these weeks, because um, I know you're fine with the open to one, and those sound great. But 2, 3 could be a little challenge for you. And then we could even go on to 3, 4, which was even challenging for me because we had to, when you do 3, 4, you have to like shift the weight of your hand closer to your face rather than farther to the scroll. So we'll talk about that one in 2 weeks though, for our next lesson. But good. So now let's go to escalators. That's when we're moving one finger. We're just changing from a flat 3 to a sharp 3, or a natural 3, I guess you could say. Or you can say me to me, however you want to think it, either numbers or solfege, that's fine. So let's try that. Why don't we try that with an open string first? You're going to start on D, so you're going to go. You can actually maybe try to do them in one bow. Try to do it in one down bow and one up bow. Good.
So terrible.
Wonderful, yeah. So that sounded really good. Now this time, would you be able to use more of your bow? So let the bow go, just let the bow, don't think about the bow. Just think about that finger changing, and that's all you got to worry about. But then just let the bow lead and just let it go. Good, much better, yeah. So it seemed like you used a lot more bow. Good. That's always an important thing to, just think about if you're not using enough bow, or if you notice like you're running out of bow. Sometimes you just have to let the bow go, because it can get a little caught up with like, like the nervousness of the left hand. Then the right hand becomes nervous. Good. So, let's do one with a one finger. So why don't you try this on the A string? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no, we're doing 3 now. And you're gonna use a 4th finger on this. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 3, 4.
This is okay. I keep hitting strings and I'm like,
Okay.
don't know
Good.
why I'm hitting strings. Okay, I guess it's a morning thing.
No, no, it's fine. So I personally think
It's distracting me.
I think you might be too far in with your violin, so that when if you take a look, if you bring your violin in and then you try to play, you see how my bow arm doesn't have enough range of motion.
Mhm.
So if your violin is a little more out, and of course we talked about balance and things like that. If it's a little more out, your bow arm has so much more room, where it might less likely be able to hit strings. Of course, it's also just getting used to the fact that the strings are a lot closer together. But maybe try not. It looks. I mean, it's hard to see on Zoom because it looks like you're a little in, and you could be a little more out. Um, to fix that, like you can point the scroll in a different direction. Uh, this way. So maybe if you try adjusting that, that might help because it'll change the range of motion in your arm, your bow arm. Good, perfect. That was great. Awesome, good. So now let's just review one little one octave tetrachord scale. Let's do this on the A and the E string since we're already there. We're just gonna go. If we start on an open string, we're just gonna have 3 touching 2 each time, so it'll look like this. So 2 is touching 3 on both strings. So it's just open 1 2 3, open 1 2 3. Wonderful, good. Good. So do you have any questions with any of that review? Anything you need help with?
Not really. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I feel like it would be easier when it's in person, but
Yeah, definitely. And we're looking, and it's looking up next semester, which is good. So that's
yeah.
exciting. It's looking in a better direction. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. Good. So, okay, so let's now look at, this is some new information. We're gonna look at some arpeggios. Um, some basic arpeggios that, we're just gonna look at a major. Oh, well, we're gonna start with minor, actually. We're gonna look at a minor. The progression's gonna be minor, major, and then, dominant seventh.
Mhm.
So it'll sound like this, and it's gonna be the same pattern. That's what's great about strings. It's like you can learn one thing, like scales, for example. My scales all use the same formula. It's just in a different part of the violin. You know what I mean?
Oh, I wish that was the case for bass.
Oh, it's not.
There's patterns. It's just that when you're doing like if you're going up different strings and what you do usually, it's like the patterns
Changes.
are very not interchangeable.
Oh, oh, I didn't realize that. Well, it does. There's a lot of patterns for violin, I can tell you. So that's the good thing, because you can learn this one pattern and then you can utilize it for multiple keys. So, um, and it's just the only difference is, so the way I like to think of it is like, okay, I have a open string pattern, a 1 finger pattern, and a 2 finger pattern, or a 3 finger pattern. Like it depends on where you start. That's when the pattern changes. So right now we're gonna look at an open string pattern. That means we're gonna start on an open string. So the pattern for all of this is gonna be open 2, open 3, and then for the dominant seventh, it's just open 2, uh, it's just open 2 3 because we're adding 4 notes for the dominant seventh chord, because of the seventh. So let me just show you what this looks like. We'll start on the G string, and I'm gonna go separate bows, and I'll say the numbers, well, like the finger numbers as I do it. So
Mhm.
open 2, open 3, and then we go on to major. Open 2, open 3. And the final one's the dominant seventh, and it's basically the same as major, you're just adding a 2. So this is what it looks like. 2, open, 2, 3. Sounds like. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna play the whole thing for you so you hear what it sounds like, in a progression. So this is major. Minor. Oh wait, I was supposed to do minor first. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I always forget that. Okay, so minor, major, dominant. Okay, here we go. Oh, and I usually would go to like, but I don't think we're supposed to do that.
Yeah, then you go. Yeah, yeah.
Usually, that's what I wanted to sound. Well, we can do it. Why not?
We
So
can
let's
build it up. Yeah, why not?
build it up. Yeah. So let's do that. So first, your first two patterns,
Minor.
major and minor, are open 2, open 3,
Mhm.
and then the only last one you have to worry about is that added second finger for the dominant. So why don't you try that on the G string?
Right.
Good. So, very good. Just in the dominant seventh, we're actually gonna have a low 2. I forgot to mention that. So,
Mm.
when we have a G, uh, like a G major minor seventh chord, we're gonna have an F natural instead of F sharp. So it's gonna sound like this. So, not close, far away. So just try that last one for me, the dominant seventh. Good, yeah, good. Um, good. So now let's try that same exact pattern on the D string. So I'll let you do this by yourself, just the same exact pattern.
Right. That is where I hit strings.
Great,
Other than hitting
wonderful.
strings, I can't.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, that's just a part of learning it, honestly. I can even say, I mean, violin and viola are similar, right? And even I hit strings, after playing violin for how many years, and just the slight changes on to the viola, I was hitting strings all the time. I still do, honestly. So it's okay. It's not a big deal at all. Good. So does that pattern make sense? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Good. So again, like I said, that you now know the open string pattern. That's the same pattern for any open string that you use. So you can do that, on the A string now if you wanted to go practice that, throughout the next 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So you can take that information and next week we're gonna take a look. Not next week, 2 weeks. We're gonna take a look at what's it called? Like one finger patterns and what that changes. And then
That's 1 3 1 4, right? That one.
um
Where is it?
yeah, it's 1 3 1 4. Good.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to just check it out now?
I, sure, why not?
Okay, so let's check it out now. Yeah. So yeah, it's 1 3 1 4. So I'll just tell you it first. The minor and major are the same. 1 3 1 4, and then the I keep thinking diminished, but it's not diminished. It's dominant seventh. And then the dominant seventh is 1 3 1 3 4. That's actually
Yeah.
hard to remember. 1 3 1 3 4. So
Mhm.
I'll just play it for you, starting with minor. Now, the biggest thing to remember with this one is that major and minor, easy, that's a piece of cake. We're good with that. Dominant seventh, you're going to have a changing 3. In the bottom part, you're going to have a high 3. In the top part, you're going to have a low, like a regular 3. So you'll have E, G sharp, B, D. But then, if I just crossed my finger over, it would play D sharp. So I actually have to bring that D down. See how that works? So, and again, that's the same for any one finger. You're gonna have to move the 3 down a lower step when you go to the higher string. So, why don't you try that for me? Try it on the E, the one finger E on the D string.
Okay.
Cool.
went minor there. But
Yeah, great. Good, and you actually did B, so that was fine.
I thought
Oh,
you meant start on the D string.
oh,
Okay,
no, no, no.
I'm sorry.
So that's fine. I mean, you did it right, so it's fine. And
Hmm.
yeah, so that last one. I think we talked about this last time, like ringtones and things like that, uh, where you have like a sympathetic vibration, and a ring, a very, very bright ring. You'll hear it when you play a note perfectly in tune with your other strings. So in this case, we have an A. This third finger. At first, it wasn't ringing, so I changed it, right? And now it's perfectly in tune. So you'll hear that. So in order to make sure you keep yourself in tune, you can hear those things, those rings that sometimes it's just hard to be like, oh wait, you know, that was a D right there. I didn't play it, I wasn't listening to the D string to hear if it was
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you're just playing a finger pattern, you're not really thinking about it, and I get that. But it's also sometimes nice to just reassure yourself that you're in tune by listening to that.
Mhm.
Great. So now again, you can take this and transpose it anywhere. So you just learned the open pattern. You can do that on G, D, A. You can't do it on E because you'd have to shift, right? So you can do a G, D, and A open pattern, and then you can do the one finger anywhere. Actually, you can shift up to third and do it in third if you wanted to. You can shift to second and do it. So it's really a great tool because you can do it anywhere. You can do it all the way up here. It's still the same thing. It actually doesn't change. Um, like you said on the bass, when you shift higher, things happen. Like, yeah, of course, for violin, I mean, you know that when you get higher on a string instrument, you have to come closer together. So, of course, on violin, you sometimes have to, like,
Yeah, you have to.
yeah, it's like basically replacing your finger sometimes if it's so close. But it's still the same pattern, so you just kind of rely on your ear. You still use a
Yeah.
1-3-1-4.
Hmm.
So you can use that anywhere. You can experiment, you know, on any note, any position. It's not like you need to know, oh, you need to know how to shift first. Like, no, you can do it anywhere, honestly. You just gotta find a note, and that's it. So that's cool. That's a good thing to learn. Yeah, so I wanted to move on to something that is similar to this, where we can use that idea and transpose it throughout the instrument. So, are you able to get onto Moodle, or you want me to share my screen?
I can go. I have a little off, so.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, great. Because you're just gonna go to our repertoire thing, and I believe we have the same one, so you should have it. And then you're gonna go under. It should be right at the top. It's the
Okay.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yep.
You see that?
Hmm.
Great.
All right.
Good. So you have that out.
Yep.
Great. So this little excerpt is perfect for what we just learned because it talks about, um, the pattern that we're kind of doing, the arpeggios, right? And in fact, this one starts on a 3. So it's going to be, well, you could do it in third. Why don't we do it in third, actually? I think that would be fun
Okay.
because we just learned one finger. So it's nothing to be worried about if you've never played in third. It's the same thing, honestly. Um,
All right. Just need to know starting.
yeah, so
This
and
would
I'll show
be
you exactly
the
where it is.
C.
So you stay in here all the time, and if you just look at how the notes are set up, you're just playing an arpeggio actually. So like you just did 1-3-1-4. You're just doing 1-3, 1-3-1. So actually, let's just take it measure by measure. So you're gonna have your one finger on C, and that's gonna, sounds. If you want to find that note. Perfect. Good. So the
Yep.
first measure, we're just doing the arpeggio. One, except playing 4, not playing 4. So 1-3-3-1. Great. Now, if your one is on G, where do you think that A is?
2.
Good. So then the next measure would just be 2-1-1. Go ahead. play. Great. Now the next measure is 4-1-1-3. Now if you really look at it, it's kind of like an arpeggio going down, right? When we do 1-3-1-4, now it's 4-3-1-1. 4-3. Oh no, I'm sorry, 4-1-3-3. Like we're going downwards, right? Um, because that's just the next octave of C. So this is your note. Good. Good. Then we're staying there, and you already played these notes, so we know that. So 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. And this is something new to us. An F is on the G string, and it's your 4. So where your C is, you always have that origin point in your C. We're just going down the scale. Great, good. So, you just learned something in third position. That's wonderful. So, but you see what I mean? Like, it's not as bad when you see that pattern. You're like, oh, it's just an arpeggio with a little few notes in between, right? And if you know the arpeggio, you can figure out the notes in between, right? How I just asked you, like, what is that A if we have a G in our one? You know, it's like, oh, well, A is next note, so it's probably two. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So why don't we do this a little? Well, here I'll ask you the question. Do you feel comfortable going through this all, or do you want to do 2 measures at a time and then go through it all?
I could try it all and see what
Oh,
happens.
wonderful.
Why not? It's full part.
Yes.
I have to make sure I don't hit strings now.
Wonderful. That's really awesome. You gotta keep it right, like get it right away. I'm I like ask because if if I'm learning that, like if you try to teach me a bass, like wait, what's that finger again? So
Well, I don't blame you. Bass is
I'd be like,
a
wait,
world. It's a place.
well, that's the other thing. You step is like between like one and four, or your whole step is like between 1 and 4, so it's like you have a lot of fingers.
They
So
are big cables, yeah.
something positive about violin is that um, you use all your fingers, and they all are consecutive after the other. So you can use that as a problem-solving thing. Like if you're working through something like this on your own, and you say, well, you use one. Every finger is consecutive after every note. You know what I'm saying? Like E is 1, F is 2, 3. It's not like E is 1 and then you have F on like a forefinger, like how you would a bass, right? Um, so that's a good problem solving thing that you can use if you're trying to figure out any piece that you're working on. So now I just want to do something a little fun, and we're gonna try to transpose this into another key. So I think we can do this. Why don't we try this in first position on a low A? So all you have to do, think about, okay, I played 1-3-3-1-2. Oh, I was playing the rhythm wrong. I'm sorry. I think I was playing that as a half note. Now that I think of it, but it's yeah. So 1-3-3-1-2-1-1. And you just take that, put it in a different spot, and then I played a 4-1, right? So you're just basically moving the fingers to another space. Um, and
Yeah.
because you have such a great memory, I'm sure you can do this. You did it. You remembered all the finger numbers without actually having them written in. So would you feel comfortable trying that?
Yeah, why not?
Good. Great.
Right, now I have to make sure not to hit strings. It's always hitting strings for me.
Uh, Good. That was wonderful. cool. So that was perfect. One thing really quick, just when you're thinking about what finger you're using, always think about the distance between each finger too. So like when we were playing in third position, we played. Did you learn about intervals yet?
Not in this, not in violin. No. Oh.
Oh no, I mean like in theory. In
Oh.
our...
I know intervals.
Okay,
It might take me a second, but
okay,
I
cool. Yeah.
understand them.
So when we play this interval, it's a major third, right?
Yeah.
And it's really, it's like a major arpeggio. So you start with a major third. So when you transpose, just remember, okay, I'm playing a 1-3, but the distance is a major third. So it's. So you were playing more close to a C, which kind of made it sound a little minor, instead of a C sharp, or a minor third versus a major third. So just remember the first distance is a major third, 1-3. So if you did this somewhere else, like if I did this on a B, this is what it would sound like if I did it with a minor third. It does sound minor. So then I'm going to make it major. I'm going to make the intervals major. You see how the change is, a little different. So whenever you transpose, just always remember the intervals too. I probably should have said that before, like, to know your half steps and thirds and whatnot, because that's really all there is here is thirds. Well, there's a fourth too, but yeah, I mean, yeah. You have any questions about that? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Cool. And like I said, like that's the fun thing about violin is that you can just put something anywhere and transpose it, pretty easily. Like it takes a minute. Like I remember starting that and I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "How does this work?" But it's actually a lot easier than you think. Like just taking a finger pattern and placing it somewhere else. So, yeah. Well, if you have any questions throughout the weeks, before our next lesson, you can always email me and I can help you out with anything, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
So I guess we'll finish for today. And then I'll email you next week about the week after that. To plan for the week after that.
Yeah, I'll make sure to.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I totally get it. It was a really hard weekend too for me, so it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for coming. And
Thank you for coming to.
yeah, of course, you're welcome. Yeah. And
now I just hit my earbuds out. This is a terrible morning.
oh, I get it. But yeah, all right. Well then, I'll be in contact with you soon for the next lesson.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank you.
And remember, can I get the video sent to me?
Of course,
Is that
yeah.
possible? All right.
We'll upload it, and then it might take like a little while. But
Yeah.
I'll upload it to you by later today.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.